What's up? It's Mike, and I don't know what to do today. Maybe I wrote something on my calendar. That'll help me out. Yeah, I do always tend to forget about Sonic and the Black Knight Sunday.
Sonic
Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
had a great time in the late 2000s. By 2009, his most recent console game was universally critically acclaimed. The one before that. The one before that. The one before that.
Sonic had a rocky history with 3D games. Damn it!
Everyone knows it. Sonic was in fact not having a great time in the late 2000s on any console for that matter that wasn't a Nintendo handheld. Just ask Grandma, even she knows about Sonic Advance 3. Even with that said, they weren't safe from the occasional piece of shit. Sega was desperate to turn their fortunes around and did what any reasonable person would do in that situation. Make a sequel to Sonic and the Secret Rings. Sonic and the Secret Rings is one of those aforementioned unfortunate 2000s Sonic games that IGN didn't like too much. Sonic and the Secret Rings was the first entry in what was called the Sonic Storybook series by Sega, which was a collection of 2 whole games made exclusively for the Wii, which feature Sonic running through mythical worlds of old. For 50% of the series, Sonic and the Secret Rings didn't show a lot of promise, but what about the other half? Sonic and the Black Knight was released on March 3rd, 2009, and continued the trends of Sonic games
By being bad.
Sonic and the Black Knight barely even lasted a year on the market before being completely delisted by Sega in 2010.
At least I managed to make it 18 years on the market, but I also didn't sell 1.2 million copies, so I guess it's a tie.
I don't see people talking about Sonic and the Black Knight nearly as much as the other console Sonic games, which has become especially true after the release of Sonic Colors a year later, a game that people generally did appreciate across the board. But don't worry, they managed to f that one up later too. Nah, take your time, it's totally fine that you load slower than the f***ing Wii.
Ooh, another point for me!
Sonic and the Black Knight seemed to fall into obscurity for a bit, even to me, and I owned the damn thing. I played it once about 8 years ago, had a lot of fun, and never touched it again.
But now that I'm older and not wiser, I wanted to take another look at this game with a fresh set of eyes. And also because what else was I gonna do today?
Sonic and the Black Knight starts off with a great first impression with the hardest sounding Wii channel jingle in existence. To knock it out real quick, I gotta mention that Night of the Wind completely slaps. They don't overplay it too much in the main game, and every time I hear it, I appreciate it just a little bit more.
Oh, it's a great song to work out to. 2 times a year I do.
The opening cinematic also looks amazing for the Wii. A whole movie in this kind of style would be awesome. Even the chili dogs look tasty. It sets up a story where Sonic is brought into the world of King Arthur and Excalibur and all that jazz.
My job as a history professor is in jeopardy.
We know King Arthur is bad and has one of the most metal World of Warcraft character designs that I've ever seen. Sonic's former Goon Squad have also been turned into the Knights of the Round Table, which are all each eventually playable, but we'll get to that later. After all that eye candy, we get treated to another smaller cutscene that's in this beautiful watercolor art style. I wonder how they made it look so good. How did they do it? It didn't work. After that, we're chucked into the first tutorial level where the game starts to fall right off a cliff. Okay, it's not that dramatic, but it still makes it halfway down the Mariana Trench. The in-game graphics look fine. Everything is extremely bland color-wise, and it's a bit hard to tell what's what, especially once you get into some of the stages like Camelot Castle. The next thing you might notice is this giant sword Sonic is holding, and it's both the most unique and worst part of this game. For one, the idea of Sonic swinging a sword around and going at super speed, destroying everyone in his path is inherently a cool idea.
I'd put that in B tier on the tier list of ideas, right next to Mario playing cricket.
But in execution, I'm sorry, but this is just kind of miserable. When my favorite character to play as is Knuckles due to his ability to glide over all the enemies, then you know you messed up somewhere. The best way I could describe the controls are unreliable, which is bad when the entire point of having controls is so you can interact and play the video game. Your Wii remote swings feel not even close to one-to-one, so much to the point where I think sometimes they're just completely unresponsive. Maybe if they delayed the game to the launch of the Wii Motion Plus accessory in June of 2009 and refined the swinging, this game could have potentially turned out so much better. The absolute kicker to all of that is, sure, you can avoid combat encounters in the regular levels, but quick time events are littered across the game, with some required to beat bosses like King Arthur. And not only that, but the King Arthur fights can make the game's frame rate completely tank, making the unresponsive controls even more unresponsive. Let's talk about more of those boss fights though, and you think they'd fare better, right?
Yeah?
Not too much though, as you just kind of run forward and mindlessly waggle your Wii remote until you either win or you lose. For example, there's Sir Gawain's boss fight.
Ha! You look just like this knucklehead I know.
Wait, his theme is really funky. I love it.
Oh, I got tricked again. This is just Persona 5!
One successful waggle session later.
For the record, I was expecting to say those words this week.
And
I have been disgraced. Only death can remove this stain upon my honor.
wait, what? What? Excuse me? Yes, that was a real scene in a real Sonic game that was really rated E10 and up by the ESRB. Unfortunately, the rest of the boss fights aren't really anything of note up till the final King Arthur fight, about 2 hours into the game, I should say, which suffers from the aforementioned terrible quick time events made even worse by the Wii absolutely dying. And after you beat them, the credits just roll?
Well, that's it. See you guys next week when I don't bitch about Sonic and the Black Knight.
Don't worry though, the game isn't actually over, you just can't skip the credits so you wish it is. Alas, there's actually a whole nother boss fight that visually looks super sick.
I knew I was playing Persona 5.
Because this game can't catch a single break though, the final boss is just as mindless and bad as the other bosses. And after you beat it, you get to watch the credits all over again, and you still can't skip them.
Humanity's been stunted for years ever since they couldn't skip either credits in Sonic and the Black Knight. Trust me, I know firsthand.
What's even worse about these credits is that they essentially take up 15% of the game, due to all the levels in the game being about a minute each. And not only that, but due to the mission structure of the game, a lot of environments tend to get reused over and over again. This might work for a handheld game, but for a full console game, that's just not acceptable. To give the game one thing, and one thing only, the set pieces in some of the levels are pretty cool, including riding a rock through this volcano.
Whew, that one sentence took a lot out of me. Back to bitching.
You can get certain items for completing levels, with some being equipable. And I shit you not, one of the first items I got in the game was an item that actively made your proficiency worse.
Okay, A, I don't even know what my proficiency means, and B, I'm still angry.
The other equipable items I could find never seemed to make any sort of meaningful impact on my gameplay experience, and neither did the different playable characters. Shadow is just fast, Knuckles can glide for a while and appears to be the best at combat, and then there's Blaze, who needs to stand still to attack.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Come on, Sega, if you were gonna commit a war crime, at least make it a little bit fun.
So that was Sonic and the Black Knight. Now, did it hold up, or was good, or did more than 3 things right? No, and you have to respect my opinion, because anyone who owns 5 copies of Jonas on the DS is right.